Yeah. What's going on, YouTube family? Back with another. It's your boy CreateWithD'Anthony. In this content video right here, we're gonna be painting the Simpson collage style painting. I know some of y'all remember the Simpsons, even y'all right now that was born this generation of millennial, whatever. Even some of us older people, I know we all remember the Simpsons. So, yep, y'all stick with me. This one right here gonna be done on the black canvas. This one was a little smaller, 11 by 14. And we're gonna be using acrylic, that's the medium. So stick with it.
So this is basically what's going on. People are blaming the mayor of Los Angeles, and basically he's not doing anything for people, and that's exactly what's going on right now as well. And then take a look at what happened 6 months later, where people are actually hoping for Los Angeles to be fully rebuilt, and this is the situation. And just take a look at this particular reference. This is the Hollywood Hills, and it seems like the entire signboard is broken because of the fire, and that's exactly what's going on in Hollywood Hills as of now as well. Now this is the state of Los Angeles after 6 months of the fire breaking out, and look at this stuff. I mean, it seems like the cartoon, it depicts like the mayor doesn't do anything in terms of like rebuilding the stuff. We will rebuild. We will rebuild. I mean, damn, dude. Now coming back to the blue umbrella, which is specifically something that they were trying to highlight here. And as you can see, there is this blue umbrella that was shown.
I'm gonna start with Bart first. Bart, one of my favorite characters. I like Homer. Actually, I like all of them.
This apparently seems to be very real, guys, because just think
I even like his bullies, Sideshow Bob, and all the rest of them. I like Old Man Willie. Y'all drop a comment. Who is y'all favorite character in The Simpsons? And drop, have y'all seen the movie as well? I think I got the movie. Well, actually, I do have the movie on DVD, which we use in Blu-rays nowadays. But yeah, I still got a DVD player. I have a Blu-ray as well. So watch much of it, but I have a good album.
That the Simpsons are referring to. And at first I was skeptical, but then they kind of did this laser beam testing, and apparently it seems like all the color burns, yellow burns, red burns, and especially when you put on the energy beam on the blue color, it seems like there seems to be absolutely no reaction at all for some reason. Like every other color seems to be burning except the blue. And what does this freaking say? So it's really shocking to see that Simpsons has predicted something this freaking crazy. Now moving on to the second prediction, that Simpsons actually predicted an exact same to same image of something that was going to happen. But this was the image that Simpsons predicted, where you can see like this is Trump, and this is like the Saudi Arabia's king, and apparently they're just placing their hands over some sort of a globe or like a light. And this exact event took place, and all the outfits.
You gotta go back over this stuff too.
Exactly the same.
Look like mustard.
This episode was aired in 2002.
Eerily mirrors real-life events. It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with two Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt.
Just take a look at this, dudes. Just take a look at this. He's even wearing exact same outfit. And also the people in this picture are exactly the same as the predictions that was done so many years ago in Simpsons. Now, this was predicted in 2002. And currently, we are living in 2025. And people are discovering all of these things right now. Now, just compare this image right here to the Simpsons prediction, and you'll actually see that it's the exact same outfit that the Saudi Arabia king is wearing. And it's the same exact outfit that Trump is also wearing. Look at that stuff. Everything resembles. And even this guy, the same kind of suit. And it's the exact same suit. Everything is same. And also, in this image, you can see that there is a woman in the back. And in the cartoon, there's also a woman in the back. And there's also an Arab man here. And if you go down here, there's also another Arab man that's standing right over here. Damn it, this is straight on scary sometimes, because these guys have been predicting this stuff and everything, including all the events that has been happening exactly the same freaking way. And now let's move on to the third Simpsons prediction, whereas this event was actually something that happened in real life as well. And apparently what's going on here is that there is this woman that's taking out horse parts more like testicles of the horse, and she's basically cooking that for a school. And this was basically given to children and a lot of people. And apparently this exact same event also took place in real life as well. Now look at this stuff. Horse meat scandal, the essential guide. With the Europe-wide scandal or the contamination of meat products from beef burgers to lasagna, showing no signs of abating study, the issue's depth, and learns all you need to know about how it came to this with our essential guide. And it seems like some people were actually mixing horse meat. The Simpsons cartoons, they also predicted this before this even happened. And now guys, let's move on to the fourth Simpsons prediction, and this one is
some more yellow people.
crazy. Because not only did Simpsons predict that Donald Trump was going to be the president for the first time, they also predicted that he was going to lose his presidentship. They also said that Donald Trump is going to be coming back, and that was apparently predicted exactly to happen in 2024. And that's exactly what happened right now. And they also said that he's going to be the president once again in 2028 as well. Now, time will of course tell us if that is true or not, but just take a look at the prediction that Simpsons is apparently saying here.
Can't stop predicting the future. As we all know, Donald Trump recently announced that he is running for president again in 2024.
You see, he ran for president in 2024.
Back in 2015, The Simpsons actually predicted his 2024 candidacy in the short A Trump-tastic Journey.
Look at this stuff, man. They actually predicted that Trump was going to be president exactly in 2024. And this episode was aired in 2015. I mean, he was not even president for the first time in 2015. And this was actually aired out of nowhere. And there was this exact escalator scene which happened in real life as well. Just take a look at this stuff. It's absolutely nuts that these guys are able
Now
to do
we're working on Homer Simpson, which is Bart father.
If I touch it, will it heal my baldness?
I mean, there's a lot of, humor that's been added into the show because it's a cartoon show, of course. But this is exactly where they basically showed off this entire thing, right? First, he becomes a president, he walks down the escalator, that exact thing happened in real life as well, and then as he goes into his hair, he finds out that he's going to be the president in 2024, and then in 2028 as well. Just take a look at the comparison here. Look at that, the same escalator scene happened once again. There are people everywhere behind him. In the cartoon series, we have this dude, but then in real life, there is nobody behind him. But then, yeah, it's absolutely accurate, man. But yeah, it definitely seems like, the Simpsons are having some sort of an ability where they're getting to know all of this stuff from somewhere, and nobody knows where all of this stuff is actually coming from. And moving up to the next prediction, we also got an economic crisis prediction, where the Simpsons apparently predicted that the economy is going to be crashing in 2018. And that's when cryptocurrency started to boom up, and a lot of people started investing their money into crypto, and this whole thing started in 2018. Just take a look at this stuff, because they
Economic collapse.
predicted this whole thing.
The global economy has been on shaky ground lately, with warning signs flashing everywhere. In 2020 alone, the U.S. printed a staggering $3.3 trillion in new money, or even a full-blown economic collapse, with job losses toll. But what's strange is that The Simpsons may have hinted at this long ago. In the 2000 episode, Bart to the Future, they portrayed an economic meltdown during a Trump presidency. Now, Trump isn't in office right now, but with his 2024 run, the possibility lingers.
And guess what? We actually have a massive economy drop down right now because the dollar prices are falling. There's BRICS currency that's rising up. There are some crazy stuff that's actually happening right now as we have been predicting all of these things from Simpsons. And it's just
Finishing up
crazy,
Bart.
man. Because it also seems that Simpsons even predicted this tragedy that happened to the Titanic submarine, and this whole thing was exactly predicted by Simpsons, man. It's just unbelievable. Just take a look at this clip
The
here.
indomitable spirit of adventure propelled the ever-charming Homer Simpson into the depths of a captivating underwater expedition in season 17's episode.
I'm finna work
In this
on
episode, they go into
Lisa
underwater
after we get done with Bart,
exploring. The
which is
Titanic ship
Bart's
that was
sister.
broken down, and it's like the submarine, which
Younger
is
sister.
Created for knowledge, take to the alluring
Yeah, I
depths
believe
of the
Bart
ocean.
older.
Their mission is to uncover hidden wealth within the
It's
confines
Lisa.
of a sunken
Y'all tell me in the
vessel.
comments who are Bart or Lisa.
There's low oxygen
Into
level.
a perilous lifeline with oxygen levels teetering on the brink of collapse.
and then oxygen gone.
Let's not spoil the episode. The episode intersects with a painful real-world incident, drawing attention to the
Look at this stuff. The exact same thing happened with the real Titanic submarine as well. There was lack of oxygen and air pressure, and you know, this was one of the biggest tragedies that just happened
on
a year ago.
mission to unveil the ghostly ruins of the Titanic, nestled in the Atlantic's embrace. Heart-wrenching fears felt by those awaiting news were only complicated by the fact that the Simpsons had inadvertently predicted the occurrence and tapped into
Now
the
we
pulse
about
of
to do
real-world
leaks of
anxiety.
you all.
Damn, dude, that's actually very scary, you know? The way that Simpsons is actually predicting all of these things, it's just very, very unnatural. Nobody knows how this shit is even happening. And they even predicted Lady Gaga's concert. I don't know if you guys are aware of this stuff, but there was a concert that happened.
This was a nod to Lady Gaga's Super Bowl
Look at this stuff.
halftime show years before the actual event took place. The episode Lisa Goes Gaga aired in 2012.
Lisa Goes Gaga. Now, they even named the episode as Lisa Goes Gaga because they knew that Lady Gaga was going to be airing in the show.
And depicted a flamboyant concert in Springfield featuring the eponymous Lady Gaga. This animated portrayal included extravagant costumes,
mess up her
elaborate
curls.
stage setups, and a grand spectacle
Famous
reminiscent of a
white
Super
curls.
Bowl halftime performance. 5 years later, in 2017, Lady
And
Gaga
she
did
playing the
indeed
trombone.
perform
I used to
Super Bowl
play that
halftime show, delivering a show
when I was a kid.
and
Exactly same thing happened, right?
predicting Lady Gaga's portrayals world war
Look at
and
this stuff.
parody with a
She's wearing the same kind of costume where she was doing the same thing.
where its writer in the entertainment industry. Gaga's Super Bowl
Look at this stuff.
halftime show stands as a testament to its ability to capture the essence of significant cultural moments.
This is just getting super crazy at this point, man. Like everything, all of these kind of predictions.
When life plays dirty, water wipes. Pure, clean, healthy skin.
That's actually happening, and they even recently predicted the Olympic stuff that the US was going to be winning a gold medal in the exact same game, and there is absolutely no way that they could have known this information so many years ago. It just blows my mind. Just take a look at this stuff.
In an unexpected turn of events, The Simpsons foreshadowed a future Olympic outcome. The storyline unfolds as Marge and Homer inadvertently get swept up in the sport of curling.
Apparently, curling became the sport that was, happening in the Olympics. And this exact sports is where, United States won the gold medal.
Agnes, Seymour,
stuff.
Marge, and Homer to team up for the sport. The International Olympic Committee then announces that mixed curling will be featured at the Winter Olympics in...
I mean, how is that possible, dude? I mean, this exact thing happened.
The foursome ends up representing the USA in the event, making it to the gold medal game where they face off against Sweden.
Sweden, look at that stuff. And the same exact thing happened in the cartoon show as well. USA facing off Sweden.
In a surprising twist, they emerge victorious, securing the gold for the USA. Interestingly, at the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, the USA did indeed win gold in curling.
That's crazy.
Can you guess which team they were facing in the final?
Sweden?
Sweden.
Oh my god. Oh my god. How's that even possible? It's just scary at this point, man. It's very scary at this point. And honestly, Simpsons even predicted that there's three-eyed fish which will be found by humans after all this year. And this exact episode was also aired in Simpsons, and it's one of the most scariest things, man, because there is no way they could have known this stuff.
It's all too real. It was only a matter of time. In episode 4 of The Simpsons Season 2, the show delved into the story of a three-eyed fish named Blinky. So here's how it goes. Bart captures a fish in a pond near the Springfield nuclear power plant. This fish exhibits the unusual trait of having 3 eyes.
And the same thing happened in real life as well. They caught a fish which had like 3 eyes. It's just crazy.
The discovery of Blinky
Coming along well. Coming along well.
Springfield pollution released into the environment by the nuclear
Coming
power
along
plant.
well.
So people are just thinking that the reason why the fish basically got like 3 eyes is because power plant pollution.
While such mutations
Next, we're gonna go with a little red for Lisa's dress. And we're gonna work our way back over towards Bart, Homer.
Look at that stuff. The same thing happened, and also people protesters saying that, this kind of mutation is only possible because there was like a nuclear power plant leak in a nearby area. And look at that stuff. It has a third eye.
Initially, the fisherman and his friends didn't notice any abnormality in the captured wolfish due to low light conditions. However, upon closer inspection the next day, the reality became evident.
Wow, look at that stuff. Three-eyed fish.
Fish was three-eyed, presenting them with a dilemma on whether to consume it or not.
That's crazy. Imagine you eat the fish and then you start getting the third eye. I mean, is that even possible? Does the nuclear contamination actually make you mutate? I really did not even know about that stuff. And in one of the episodes, you know, there was this building. Apparently, let me just show you guys right here. This is also another crazy prediction that Simpson made.
Interestingly, the episode was set in the future, and it showcased Big Ben and Tower Bridge alongside.
Look at that stuff. So they have this building right here, which was showcased like so many years ago, and this building did not even exist, right? And years later, guess what?
Building, positioned to the left.
This building was built.
With a design unlike any existing structures in London at that time. Fast forward 14 years, and reality mirrored the animated prediction. Plans for a new structure called the Shard were submitted and accepted.
And then the building was built. Crazy stuff. I don't know, man. I mean, everything that this show has been showing so far, it's one of the most scariest things ever. However, there's one episode that Simpsons recently just aired, which I think is by far one of the most scariest episodes that we could have ever asked for. Because in this episode, it seems like there's a rapture coming, and the rapture is exactly as what is stated in the Bible. Now, let me just show you guys this episode.
Leave your body, Seymour. Leave your body.
Seems like, you know, they're watching a movie, and the movie's name is called Left Below, right? That's basically how things are happening, like inside the movie or something.
Okay, we're gonna let this sit for a minute. Let it dry up. Let that sit just for a minute.
So basically, people here are committing adultery.
What if your wife finds out?
It's modern times. Everyone's doing it.
Look at that stuff. Look at that stuff. So the Christian limo driver, he disappears. It was some sort of a lightning kind of a thing that just happens, and then everyone starts disappearing. Just watch this stuff.
My pious husband is missing. The baby I chose to have baptized is gone.
The baby I chose to have baptized is gone.
Mr. Thompson, what's happening?
It's the rapture, Shauna. The rapture. The virtuous have gone to heaven, and the rest of us have been
Thrown in earth.
left below. Left below?
I mean, that's the name of the movie that this dude's watching in the show.
I heard that before.
It's the title of the movie.
I mean, it's the Bible.
We were fools, and because we rejected God, tacitly accepting Satan, he must suffer through the apocalypse. I thought all religions were a path to God.
I mean, there were people all around the world that were facing the same situations. Apparently, what happens, according to the Bible, is that, you know, Jesus is going to come back, and before his second coming, he apparently comes back before that, which is called as the tribulation period, and he takes all of his followers away, and these people are going to disappear, and they are going to be like the chosen ones, or like the dialogue that Jesus says, I'm going to be choosing the fish that follows me, and leave rest of the fish alone, because they are just unworthy of God, because they did not accept the sacrifice of his son. Just take a look at this stuff.
Why did I put my faith in science and technology?
I mean, these are like the atheists, I believe. Why did I put my faith in science and technology and not on God?
Oh, why did I choose to be gay?
Oh my God. The last guy says, why did I choose to be gay? That's hilarious. And for those of you guys who don't know what rapture is, and if you're not aware of what the Bible basically teaches, let me just take you guys through this one video, which actually gives a very good explanation of what the rapture is, according to what the Bible basically states. I know that a lot of people haven't read Bible, and you have no idea what the rapture is, and what people have been talking about lately in the world, and the things that's happening. You know, everything has been prophesized, and every single thing that's going on in the world as of now, it's all prophecies coming true. And true Christians who actually believe in God, and if they read the Bible, and if they know all of these prophecies, they have absolutely no fear, because they know that their Messiah is coming back, and the second coming of Christ is going to happen anytime, and the rapture could happen anytime as of now. So let's just take a look at this amazing video which is posted by Inner Peace 8 TV. So here we go.
Let's break down what the Bible says about the signs when the rapture takes place. First off, there's going to be some clear signals before it happens. In 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 16, it says, "For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God."
So this one, it's not like the final revelation call, okay? Just keep this in mind. This call is way before the final revelation happens, and it's basically going to save them. Apparently that's what's going to happen according to the Bible, so just watch
That
this.
sound is one big sign. It'll be like nothing you've ever heard before.
Yeah.
Another sign is that believers in Christ, those who have passed away, will rise first. Then,
Meaning the people who are dead. I mean, the souls of dead people, apparently it seems like they're going to be rising back again. Nobody knows how that's going to happen. But then before the living goes to him, it seems like the dead are the first ones that apparently go to heaven.
those of us still alive and following Jesus will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. That's in 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 17. Now on earth, things will be chaotic.
Yeah.
People will disappear in an instant, and many will be confused.
And that's exactly what you saw in The Simpsons. As you saw, everyone starts disappearing, and that's something, you know, it might be something that Simpsons have predicted as of now. And when it happens out of nowhere, people are going to be in huge shock,
Knowing
man.
what's happening. Matthew 24, verse 40 to 41 says, "Two men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other left."
Which is a clear sign that not everyone is going to be taken. I mean, if two men are on the field, one that followed Jesus Christ and the way of how he lived and the way that, you know, the word of God has been teaching on how a person should live, how a man should live, or how a woman should live. And if you follow those commands and you're basically following Jesus, if you have like a relationship with God, then you're going to be the lucky ones that Jesus will choose in order to take you away. And the other one was probably some sort of an atheist, some dude that was just sinning his entire life and rejected God. They're going to be left over.
That's a clear sign of people being taken suddenly.
So that's basically what the rapture means. And I've got to say, man, all the predictions that we've been seeing in Simpsons, it's absolutely crazy. Everything is coming true. And I would honestly say that if you haven't gotten good with God right now, now is going to be the final time, because the rapture could happen. Because just like that, we just saw Hollywood Hills burning, and we're also seeing Euphrates River drying up. We're seeing Israel going to war. We're seeing Russia going to war with Ukraine. And all these things, it basically happened overnight. You just go to sleep, wake up, and some disaster just starts happening, and you never know. So the same thing could happen. So in the same way, like the Lord states, that he will come like a thief in the night, and nobody would ever know when it's going to happen. Always be prepared. And so if you're not prepared, and if you haven't gotten good with God, I think now is finally going to be the time when you could go ahead, open your books, read the Bible. And if you don't have faith, maybe after watching this video, maybe you might get a thought that you want to go get good with God and change your life for good, I guess. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you guys think that there is any other predictions that Simpsons has done that I haven't covered, please leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. By the way, I read every single comment and try to reply to as many of you guys as I possibly can. And now, with that being said, if you guys have gone and enjoyed this video, drop a big fat like, because it really helps the channel, and it also helps the video a lot more than you guys think. So please take a few seconds of your valuable time, drop a like, it really means a lot to me, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.
When it comes to Zaxby's fingers, there's a few non-negotiables. It's gotta be only premium tenderloin, marinated for 12 hours and fried to crispy perfection. What is negotiable? The flavors you create mixing our 12 signature sauces. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients and meals, savings like $600 in digital coupons, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Okay. All the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, the camera is set. Let's begin this journey to the great
All right, we back, YouTube family. Now that it's a little dry, we're gonna go ahead and do Bart. His shirt is red as well, so had to take a little quick intermission, but we back now. So y'all stay with me.
Every fan of The Simpsons knows just how weirdly accurate the show can be when it comes to predicting future events. From political drama to technological advances, the Springfield family always seems to predict the unexpected. How does this show manage to see things coming before they even make headlines?
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event.
And are there any predictions for January 2025? Stay tuned because The Simpsons have a few surprises in store this year. California fires. We're starting off with the January 2025 California fires that have been a frightening reality for people around the world. Strangely, it seems The Simpsons saw it coming years ago. In season 18, episode 12, titled Little Big Girl, Springfield faces a raging forest fire that threatens the entire town. What makes this episode stand out? Bart starts the fire during one of his mischievous pranks. What begins as a harmless joke quickly turns into chaos, with flames spreading uncontrollably. The fire destroys homes, trees, and everything in its path, leaving Springfield's firefighters struggling to contain the disaster. Fans of The Simpsons are convinced this episode predicted the California wildfires because the scenes look eerily similar to real events. But is it really a prediction, or just a wild coincidence? The Simpsons has a knack for turning real-world issues into gripping stories. Whether they predicted it or not, the eerie resemblance keeps fans talking.
A little bit more bright, right?
If you think these fires being predicted is odd, wait till you see what's next on this list. Trump's presidential election win. The Simpsons have also extended their predictions into the political world. Back in 2000, in an episode called Bart to the Future, the show made a bold joke about Donald Trump being president. In the episode, Lisa Simpson, the new president, talks about how her first job is fixing the mess left by Trump, who was president before her.
And it seems The Simpsons just can't wait for next season to deal with Donald Trump. The Simpsons released this video online tonight.
The funny part is that this was years before Trump even ran for office. Now that Donald Trump is getting inaugurated as president in January this new year after winning the 2024 United States presidential election, people wonder if The Simpsons saw it coming. But that's not the only prediction that came from this episode. Keep watching to find out what the other one is. First female president. In The Simpsons, there's a moment that some people believe predicted the first female president of the United States.
Yes, I am proud to be America's first straight female president.
This prediction happened in the same 2000 episode that predicted Trump becoming president. In this episode, Lisa Simpson becomes the first female president of the United States. When Lisa takes office, she faces a country in huge debt, and she has to figure out how to solve the problems left by the previous president. What makes this prediction so interesting is that years later, in 2016, a woman, Hillary Clinton, ran for president. Though she didn't win, many fans think the episode was predicting that a woman could one day take charge of the country. Barbie movie and Trump's arrest. One of The Simpsons' most surprising predictions came in the 2007 episode Lisa versus Malibu Stacy, where the show casually mentioned the release of a Barbie movie. The Barbie movie was just a joke in the episode, but years later, it actually happened. The Barbie movie became a huge success, just like the show hinted. Fans were amazed at how The Simpsons seemed to know about it before it even existed. But that's not all. The show also predicted something even bigger. In the same episode, a news anchor casually says that the US president was arrested. Fast forward to 2023, and Donald Trump was arrested, just like the show had joked about. It's strange to think that The Simpsons might have seen all this coming, leaving fans questioning how they got it so right. Hologram. It's not a surprise that some people believe The Simpsons predicted holograms before they became a real thing. In a 2003 episode called Treehouse of Horror 13, we see something strange. During a spooky story, Homer interacts with holographic images. These images look like they are floating in the air. At the time, holograms seemed like something out of a science fiction movie, but now, holograms are real. We see them in concerts, where famous singers who have passed away perform again using holograms. Some companies also use holograms for meetings and events. Fans of The Simpsons believe this episode shows how the show looks into the future. Artificial intelligence. The Simpsons has surprised fans with how it seems to predict the future, and artificial intelligence, also known as AI, is no exception. In the 2012 episode titled Them, Robot, Mr. Burns replaces all his employees at the nuclear power plant with robots. At first, these AI robots seem perfect. They are efficient, tireless, and do exactly what they are programmed to do. But soon, things take a dark turn when the robots malfunction and cause chaos. This episode feels like a warning about relying too much on technology. While AI can make life easier, The Simpsons shows how it can also create problems if we're not careful. Fans wonder if this episode predicted the rise of AI, especially with how robots are becoming more common in real life. But these robots aren't the only futuristic predictions made by The Simpsons.
Really starting to come along,
Let's find
folks.
out what other incredible futuristic predictions the show has revealed. Flying cars. Many people believe The Simpsons predicted flying cars, and it's easy to see why. In season 16, episode 15, titled Future Drama, the show gives a peek into the future. In this future, Homer and Bart ride in a floating car that zips through the air. It's exciting, fun, and looks exactly like what people imagine when they dream about flying cars. The idea of flying cars has been around for decades, and many think The Simpsons was ahead of its time by showing them on TV. Some fans believe the show wasn't just being creative, it was predicting what could become real. Today, tech companies are working hard to make flying cars a reality, so maybe The Simpsons wasn't far off. Disney buying Fox. In 1998, The Simpsons aired an episode that has now become one of its most famous predictions. In the episode When You Dish Upon a Star, Homer meets a Hollywood big shot and sees how the powerful movie industry works. At one point, a sign appears showing 20th Century Fox being bought by Disney. The show was just making fun of Hollywood at the time, but fans now see it as a prediction. In 2017, Disney announced it was buying 21st, which owns 20th Century Fox.
680's Richard Southern joins us now. And Richard, it's a massive deal that reshapes the entertainment biz. So Disney is buying a big chunk of Fox.
The timing made people feel like The Simpsons knew this would happen, even though it aired almost 20 years earlier. The idea of a huge company like Disney buying another giant was seen as something that could happen in the future, but no one thought it would happen so soon. Virtual reality. Next on this list is virtual reality. In an episode titled Friends and Family, we see Mr. Burns using a futuristic headset. This headset lets him enter a world that feels real, even though it's all just technology. The episode came out in 2016, and while VR headsets were becoming popular then, they weren't completely mainstream. Fans believe this was a clear sign that The Simpsons saw virtual reality coming. Homer's goofy actions in the virtual world make the episode funny, but it also shows how this tech could one day change how we live, play, and work. Today, virtual reality is everywhere, from games and education to even healthcare. Did The Simpsons predict it? Or was it just a lucky guess? Either way, this episode keeps proving that this animated show might just be ahead of its time.
These red shoes on. Famous red shoes.
In the episode Thank God It's Doomsday, Homer Simpson learns about the possibility of the world ending, and the idea gets people talking. In the episode, a natural disaster threatens to destroy Springfield, and people start to panic. They think the world might really end, but Homer tries to stay calm, even though everything seems to fall apart around him. The interesting part is that The Simpsons predicted similar events in other episodes, where natural disasters, wars, and other dangers seem to signal the end of the world. Let's get into what these natural disasters are. Large-scale natural disasters. Over the years, many fans have noticed that The Simpsons has shown disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, and floods before they even happen. One of the most famous predictions was an earthquake. In an episode called The City of New York versus Homer Simpson, the show showed Homer at the World Trade Center years before the 9/11 attacks. This shocked many people because it felt too real. Another prediction was about a huge tsunami. In the episode Bart to the Future, there was a scene that seemed to show a huge wave coming to destroy everything, just like a tsunami. This made people wonder if the show knew something before it happened. Many believe that the writers just used their imagination, but it's still fun to think about how the Simpsons might be predicting big disasters we can't see coming. Economic crisis. In a 2000 episode called Bart to the Future, the show imagines a future where the economy collapses. The show even suggests that this happens under President Trump. The idea of a crash seemed like a funny, far-off joke back then, but years later, the United States actually elected Donald Trump as president, and the economy faced some big struggles. In the episode, the economy falls apart, and people suffer. Fast forward to today, and some people feel that The Simpsons might have been onto something. With rising debt and tensions between countries, it seems like the world could be heading in that direction. Whether the show truly predicted the future or just got lucky, its ability to reflect real-world problems has made fans keep their eyes open for more possible predictions. U.S. men's curling team winning gold. In 2010,
Using
The
a
Simpsons
little
aired an
neutral,
episode
a little
called
white.
Boy Meets Curl, and in this episode, Homer and Marge become an unexpected curling team. They end up surprising everyone by winning a gold medal at the
Feeling
Winter
Bart eyes
Olympics
and Homer
in
eyes.
Sweden. It was a funny and unlikely story, as curling was not something the U.S. was known for. Homer and Marge's victory was a shocking twist, just like how many people didn't expect the U.S. to do well in curling. Fast forward to the 2018 Winter Olympics, and something unbelievable happened. The U.S. men's curling team, led by John Schuster, won the gold medal, just like The Simpsons predicted. They defeated Sweden, just like in the show. It was a huge surprise and reminded fans of the episode, suppression of green energy. In the episode The Last Temptation of Homer, which aired in 1993, there is a scene where a character named Hans Moleman tries to sell solar-powered energy at a convention. But before he can get any attention, a big company that sells fossil fuels comes in and shuts him down. The whole scene is funny, but it also makes a serious point. Over the years, many fans noticed that The Simpsons was predicting something big. In real life, people have been talking a lot about renewable energy, like solar power, to fight climate change. The episode shows how powerful companies could stop green energy from growing because they want to keep using oil and gas. This prediction is even more interesting today because we see green energy being pushed aside by big business and government slowdowns. If you think this prediction is surprising, wait till you see what's at the top of this list. Colonization of Mars. In a 1994 episode called Deep Space Homer, Homer Simpson becomes an astronaut and goes on a space mission. Back then, it seemed like just a funny story, but now, things are different. Scientists, including NASA and SpaceX, are working hard to make the dream of living on Mars a reality. In the episode, Homer ends up on a spaceship, and the idea of living in space doesn't feel so impossible anymore. In real life, space agencies are planning missions to Mars. NASA hopes to send humans to Mars by the 2030s, and SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, is pushing for a mission even sooner. The Simpsons made this idea look possible years before it became a real goal, and now people are starting to wonder if the show was right all along. Well, which of these predictions do you think is the most accurate? Most pizza-loving humans would go out of their way for the perfect slice of pizza, and Steph Curry is no exception. On the 6th day of November, 2024, the American basketball star made an unexpected stop at a popular pizza parlor in Beverly Hills. Little did he know that his need for a sizzling slice of pizza that day would lead him to an unexpected experience. Just as he was about to place his order, he stopped cold at the sound of two boys whispering behind him. How this whisper later changed their lives would bring tears to your eyes. The whisper that brought help. Although he was used to his packed schedule, he felt this sudden need for a quick escape. So, on this regular Tuesday afternoon, Steph Curry decided to take a break from his busy day. Training, press conferences, and the endless meetings had made the day feel long and heavy, but this craving for his regular sweet slice of pizza got a bigger hold of him. Curry, as typical of him, loves his strong, classic American slice of pizza, the kind that took him back to his simpler family days in California. It was a small comfort, a connection to his childhood years.
Look at that YouTube, fam. Look how nicely that comes on.
Sweet story of love and kindness.
NBA star Stephen, along with his family, made the holidays a little brighter for 1,000 families.
Without thinking twice, Curry threw on his jacket and grabbed his keys, heading to a cozy pizza parlor tucked away in a quiet corner of Beverly Hills. The idea of Steph Curry, an award-winning basketball player and global humanitarian, slipping into a small shop on a whim felt oddly refreshing. No cameras, no entourage, just Curry in search of a simple pizza. He parked his car and stepped out, dressed casually in a well-worn leather jacket and jeans, looking every bit the relaxed, approachable man he was. As he walked into the pizza parlor, the soft chime of the doorbell announced his arrival. The place was quiet, with only a few people enjoying their drinks. The aroma of freshly ground tomato sauce filled the air. George scanned the menu, though he already knew exactly what he wanted, a medium-sized pack of pizza. The young attendant behind the counter noticed him, and her eyes widened ever so slightly. It wasn't every day that Steph Curry, the face of American basketball, wandered into her shop. She did her best to stay professional, clearing her throat as she greeted him. She then proceeded to ask him what he would love to have. Curry gave her a friendly smile, one that put her instantly at ease. He then asked to be served a medium-sized pack of pizza. She nodded, punching in the order with a bit of a starstruck daze, then handed him his receipt and told him it'd be ready in a moment. As he waited, Curry let his thoughts drift. He had just been nominated for the NBA Most Valuable Player for the 4th time. There were so many pieces to juggle between basketball training schedules, charity work, and family life. But for now, he was content to soak up this rare, quiet moment, surrounded by the hum of the shop baking oven. No one seemed to recognize him, and he relished the anonymity, waiting to eat his pizza without interruption. Yet out of the corner of his eye, he noticed 2 young men at a nearby table, sneaking glances and whispering urgently. Steph Curry wasn't paying much attention at first, assuming it was just typical teenage chatter, but something in their hushed voices caught his ear. One boy, speaking quickly and nervously, said that he and the other boy would have to rob the shop. If they didn't, they would die hungry, and their mother would find nothing to eat till she died on her sickbed. Curry blinked, suddenly more alert. He turned his head slightly, just enough to listen more closely without drawing attention. The other boy, his younger brother, sounded worried as he asked the older one what their fate would be if they got caught, since it's common knowledge that worse things happen to thieves. The word steal hit Curry like a shock. He glanced over at them, trying to get a better look without seeming obvious. They were just kids, maybe 13 or 14, hunched over their table, carrying a weight far too heavy for kids their age. The older one, looking determined but scared, leaned closer and whispered to the younger one that they only needed to steal some food and get just some cash from the register. He assured his brother that no one would know. He claimed they needed it, and he didn't know any other way to get the money. Curry's mind raced as he listened. This wasn't just teenage mischief. There was desperation in the boy's voice, a fear that spoke to a lack of options, and when they mentioned their mom, Curry's heart sank. He could tell these kids were considering something serious, something that could get them into real trouble. He knew that look, that tone, the fear of not knowing where else to turn. These boys were on the verge of making a decision that could change their lives forever, and Curry realized he might be in a position to help. The pizza parlor attendant handed Curry his pizza, but he barely noticed. His focus was entirely on the 2 boys. He overheard the younger boy's voice, trembling, saying to the older one that he wouldn't want to do this. And the younger one wondered what their fate would be if someone got hurt. The older boy took a deep breath and assured him that they would be fast about it. He promised him that no one was going to get hurt. He claimed they desperately needed the food to feed themselves and their mother and cash to pay for the medicine. From this conversation, Curry got hold of 2 words: food and medicine. Those were the keys. Their mother wasn't just sick. She urgently needed the medicine they couldn't afford, and also needed food to feed their stomachs. Curry felt a tug in his chest, a deep empathy. He couldn't just walk away, but he also couldn't confront them directly. They would panic. something reckless. He had to handle this carefully. Curry was a problem solver, both on screen and off. And right now, these boys had a real-life problem that needed a solution before they took a drastic step. He approached the counter and said softly to the attendant. He asked if she could add a couple packs of pizza to his order. He claimed he needed something hearty for a couple of kids, and that this is where the real thing happened. Steph Curry's magnificent kindness. With his packs of pizza in hand, Curry made his way over to the boys' table. They didn't notice him at first, lost in their anxious conversation. But as he got closer, the older boy looked up, his eyes widening in shock as he recognized the man in front of them. Curry smiled gently, trying to appear friendly. Holding up the packs of pizza and his bag, he asked if the boys would mind if he joined them. He said he got a few extra packs of pizza and he'd hate for them to go to waste. He suggested that perhaps the boys would like to help him out. The boys exchanged a nervous glance, clearly starstruck and uncertain, but the tension in their shoulders didn't fade completely. They were still on edge, ready to bolt. Yet the offer of food, and perhaps the shock of Steph Curry standing there, made them hesitate. The older boy agreed, though his voice quivered slightly. Curry settled into the chair across from them, sliding the pizza over. After much silence, he asked to know what brought the two boys to the pizza parlor. He asked this question casually, trying to keep the conversation light and give them a chance to open up if they wanted. They looked at the food, eyes wide with confusion and hunger. Being young and struggling made it hard to think straight, and Curry could see how weary they were. He waited, letting them take a few bites, hoping the warmth of the food would help calm their nerves. Finally, he spoke, his tone casual and gentle. He told them that he couldn't help but overhear a bit of their conversation. He said that the conversation sounded like the boys were dealing with something really tough. The boys froze, mid-bite, their faces paling. The older one quickly went on the defensive, stammering. He argued that they weren't doing or planning to do anything wrong. He said they were just talking, and that was all. Curry nodded, his expression understanding. Curry said he got the drift. He said he knew that the boys were not in trouble. He just wanted to help. He told the boys that he heard them mention their mom and asked if she was sick. The younger boy's eyes filled with tears, though he tried to blink them away. The older boy, protective and wary, swallowed hard and nodded affirmatively. His voice barely steady, he said that they had been super hungry for days, and their mother was also really sick and needed cash to purchase medicine. The boy claimed they had no money. They tried everything to solve their problems, but they failed. Curry's heart clenched. These kids were barely teenagers, yet they were carrying an enormous burden, fighting to feed themselves and keep their mom alive. They seemed desperate, backed into a corner with nowhere to turn. Amidst tears, the older one told Curry that it was never their desire to steal. He continued, voice quivering, and alluded their problems to the lack of options. They did not know what else to do. Curry leaned forward, his gaze steady and compassionate, and told the boys that he knew they were scared. He said he also knew that there was no other way available, but he felt going down the path the boys had chosen won't make things easier. It'll only add to their trouble.
Yep, like I say, YouTube family, we're going to end this video here. It's been long enough. Pretty much got everything, all the main details done. We just got to tweak this a little bit. We're going to put some gold on her trombone, filling his shoes blue. And then we'll go over everything again and go over it one more time, and then that should clear everything up. Once we do that, we're probably going to put the Simpson lettering, put some slogans in there. I may even put Marge in there and Maggie in there as well. I think I'm going to do that. And then, like I said, this should be a done painting. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, share. Y'all do all that little good stuff. And we on our way to 1,100 subscribers, so y'all make sure y'all share this as well. Especially for all my Simpson fans out there. Y'all make sure y'all share this video as well. Until next time, we out.